All right. What's up, guys? My name is Tony,
I'm Chris.
and this is our first episode.
I guess this would technically be our second. We did an introduction.
Yeah, we did a
but
pilot.
We did some talking and some soul searching. I think we found the name.
Yeah, so this is going to be the Faith Over Fear podcast. We got a pretty good response after the first initial clips that we put out.
Yeah, got a lot of messages from guys that have been struggling with addiction, that have been sober for a long time. And, that was our mission when we started this, to just help people.
And in light of the month of June being Man's Mental Awareness Month, I thought it'd be a perfect time, or we actually discussed about bringing on our friend Nick.
So Nick is a coach here at Resurrection Fit, and he is a recovering addict as well. And when we use that term, I know some people can take it as a wrong thing, but he's recovering. He's been, you know what? Let's invite Nick on and we'll have him tell his story.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Nick. I'm a recovering addict, 28 years old. Today I have 3.5 years sober. It's been a wild journey getting to this point, and I'm grateful and happy to be here.
We're excited to have you here, and we're excited for you to just be vulnerable and talk about your addiction. And I know that can be a hard thing to talk about, because at the end of the day, we don't want to talk about our struggles. We don't want to talk about our downfalls, but I think our downfalls, it's our highlight reel to our success.
Pretty much to start off with, you say you're 3 years sober? Okay.
3.5, yeah.
So I have about 4 months being sober from alcohol.
I'm about just shy of 4 months of being sober from weed. I was addicted to weed. Drank a lot when I was younger. Haven't drank in a while, but I think we all have our vice, and weed was mine, alcohol was Tony's, and let's let Nick talk about his.
My vice was actually just heroin, ended up with fentanyl and Xanax. That was my complete downfall. And it was a tough ride to get there. I started off doing drugs really young, and I came across the needle, and that was game over for me. Started shooting up, and then progressively became a worse and worse habit. The biggest change that helped me was actually getting locked up. I lost my mom while I was in there, and it made me realize, what am I doing with my life? I'm wasting so much time doing bullshit that's gonna get me nowhere. And that was my turning point, basically. I found fitness in there, and as I came out and went to the gym, that's when I found my peace and happiness. I enjoyed fitness. I found a relief in working out and helping other people find that outlet as well, a healthy outlet to life.
Well, I mean, man, that gave me the chills. It's not easy talking about that. I mean, I don't want to downplay anything, but like alcohol, weed, right? But then that's the next step of the needle and this and that. But I just want to applaud you for actually opening up and saying that, and being vulnerable about what you've been through, But I want you to know that just because that was you back then, that doesn't define you now. The actions that you're doing right now is what defines you.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for us to come to that realization until something that impacts us like drastically.
Yeah.
Like going to prison. I mean, fuck. But I think like we all reach a breaking point that makes us have to change. Like for me, it was losing my family, and I was like, shit, I gotta get my shit together, because if I lose my family, lose my home, I'll pretty much end up in the street. So yeah, I commend you too, bro, for changing your life.
Also, just like you said, you were in jail and lost your mom. Like, just speak a little bit about that and how that made you feel.
Man, that was a tough one to go through, honestly. When I first got the phone call, I thought it was a joke. My family was trying to push me to continue doing the right thing while I was in there, change my mindset up. And at first I didn't believe it. I was in denial for the longest time until I went to court, and my dad was trying to push for me to go to her funeral. And I got denied on the funeral, so I didn't get to see my mom get buried. I lost out on all that. And then that's when the realization came in that I actually just lost my mom. And the last moments with her were behind a glass talking through a phone. And it was such a sad moment that's one of the last memories that I have of my mom, and the last time I saw her. And it sucks to say, but that's what I needed for me to actually push this in motion and continue my sobriety and just, make it a priority instead of I'm gonna get a little bit of a detox and then go back out and go use again. No, this time it was serious. I was all for sobriety, and there was nothing that's gonna hold me back from it.
Is your mom like your why? Like why you keep continuing your sobriety?
I'd say my mom, my family, my son, those are my biggest whys, and for myself, honestly, because I've lost so much. I was absent through my whole kid's childhood, basically. I was there, but how much of it are you there when you're loaded every single time you see them? You know, you can only remember so much, and it feels like shit just looking back at it, looking at pictures, looking at videos of how I was and how lost I was, and I wasn't really there. I wasn't really there to enjoy his childhood. I hope he doesn't remember it. I hope that he can remember how I am now and how present I am in his life. So just family in general. I wanted to prove it to them and myself that I can do it. I can recover. There was many failed attempts, and it was time. It was a long time coming that I had to do this.
I just want to let you know, like, even if your son does remember that, you're setting an example right now of like what it is to change. You know, like that's the thing that most people don't realize is we're gonna fall on their face. We're gonna fall flat on our fucking face. It's how you bounce back from that. You know, like you could have kept going down that path and been 6 feet under just as well, but you decided to change your life. You know, and man, that hit when the judge denied you to go to your mom's funeral. But I guarantee you that's imprinted in your brain. Like, I'd never want to miss something ever again because of my fuck ups.
Exactly. No, that was the biggest turning point, honestly. The fact that I couldn't go and see her one last time, even though she wasn't physically alive, that lit the fire, and that was grind mode from there. I had to make it. I had to do good. I couldn't fail no more.
Talk a little bit about how fitness has helped you. Obviously, you said it's been your peace, your kind of your way to get away from that addiction. But how has fitness turned into your peace, and how are you helping people in the fitness industry?
So how it turned into my peace was when I got out. I went to my first gym, and of course I didn't know what I was doing, and the community helped me out. They taught me the ways of how to train properly, what to do, what not to do. And as I was getting more experienced and growing, you know, I started helping newcomers, and just seeing the progress, the fire that's being lit inside of them to pursue a passion, or this is their outlet, this is their therapy. Instead of going out and doing stupid shit, they come in here and relieve all their stress. And they find that anything is possible and they could conquer anything. As long as they put their mind and discipline into it, they can achieve anything that they want. And when I started helping other people and seeing the progress in them, it made me feel great. It made me feel great. It gave me the relief like drugs did. Just seeing how happy it made them, seeing the progress in their body, seeing their progress mentally, it was amazing, and it became my passion. I enjoyed helping people out, and I wanted to pursue it. And that's what got me to become a personal trainer.
I think with the way you also battle, you know, your addiction or going through sobriety is being of service. You take yourself out of the equation and you start putting others first. And like for me, that's where, since I make content, like I want my videos to mean something where either it inspires, motivates, or just makes someone smile. I've gotten so many messages where people say like, hey, like I'm going through this and just watching a video made me smile. And I'm like, damn, like it does more for you, but it helps you continue to push forward and motivate you.
I think we all find something. Like you found personal training, you found content creation. You know, I was a trainer. You know, I trained for a long time. I still train clients, but at the end of the day, I kind of found myself helping trainers build a business. And listen, I don't think everybody's gonna say, oh, Chris is the man, this and that. That's not what I do it for. I don't do it for the hey, the pat on the back, the recognition. At the end of the day, I do it for the people that actually want to be helped. You know, like I have my therapist says this all the time. He's like, your heart's buffer than your body, you know, and in that sense, I laugh because, you know, I have a pretty tough exterior, you know, but when I care about somebody and I want to see somebody succeed, you know, I I give it my all, you know, and that could go both ways for me, you know. It could screw me over and it could help me out, you know. Like, we met each other, we talked for about an hour and a half. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I just met this guy Nick," you know. We chopped it up, and man, I felt connected to you instantly, and just I wanted to help you, you know, not like, oh, I need to give him a handout. No, I just want to help you. Like, I felt you were genuine with me. So in that sense, like, if somebody's genuine with me, just like with our first interaction, you were genuine. So in that sense, man, I think just helping other people, no matter what avenue it may be, that can be a savior for yourself and for other people, you know. Like, I mentor younger men, you know. Like, this kid came to me and we spoke, and he couldn't afford my mentorship, but I said, listen, let me help you. I just want to help you, you know. Kid started crying. It almost made me cry, you know. And from that, like, it's not about the money, and of course we all need to make money and we all need to support our families, but at the end of the day, it's about, what's your mission? What do you want to do? And for me, I want to help people. I think we all want to help people, and it'll always stick with me. He left and he said, man, let me pray for you. And that hit home, you know. Like, I invited him to church. He came to church. He experienced.
Oh, the guy was there last time? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I just invited him. I said, come to church, you know. And it shook me because I was talking to him about his church, and he said, oh, yeah, they charge me to be in my groups. And I was like, they charge you to be in a group? I said, man, that's crazy. Come to my church. Just experience it, you know. I'm not trying to, like, take him from his community, but I said, just come to my church, you know. We have I started a church workout group every Monday, 6:30 a.m. to 8, you know, every single Monday. It's free. If you're not a member here, if you don't go to our church, if you're not a believer, who cares? Come join us. See what the power of brotherhood can do, you know?
It's like they say, like, you are who you hang out with. You hang out with 5 alcoholics, you're bound to be the 6th. You hang out with 5 addicts, you're bound to be the 6th. So it's like, you know, you're a byproduct of your environment. And I don't know, man. Honestly, like, I feel like everything just happens for a reason. You open this gym for a reason.
Yeah.
When we come here, like, I feel like this is home. I've known you for less than a month.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've known him for a long time. Once you meet someone that's in sobriety, you know the pain they've gone through without even knowing the full story. I used to watch Jersey Shore a lot, and, you know, Mike the Situation. One quote he always says is, like, the comeback is always bigger than the setback. And you're a good example of, like, you know, that your past does not determine your future. It's inspiring, honestly, like, to just be around, you know, both of you guys. So.
And I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I heard this on a podcast, and the guy said, if you have an addict that gets sober, they're the most dangerous fucking person you could be around. Motivated.
That's funny. I heard that.
They're
same
motivated.
thing.
They're addicted, right? Yeah. But it's what they put their addiction to, you know? It's like, and if we can grow a community of recovering addicts, you know, like, and if that's what people look at and they say, fuck that place, screw you, man. Like, I don't want you to be here, you know? Like, everybody goes through the downfall. Most people just are afraid to actually admit it. And those people that are afraid to admit it, say, I'm good, are the ones that have the biggest problems.
Exactly. It's funny, I heard that same exact thing. I'm pretty sure it was Joe Rogan's podcast.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. Because I always think about, if I put all the time and effort when I was a drug addict to get the drug and how to figure out how to get the drug, where I'm gonna get the money from, who I'm gonna get it from, if I put that time and effort into something else like building a business, who knows where I'd be. It's still, I'm not gonna ponder on the lost time. It's part of my story, and I'm just steady building right now.
When you hear the word addict, you think of, it's a negative connotation, right? Or recovering addict. Yeah. You know, my mentor, he just recently passed away. He was a recovering addict. He was sober for 9 years. Alcoholic, cocaine addict. One of the downest motherfuckers I'll ever meet. You know, he, no bullshit, told you how it is. But at the end of the day, when people define you off of the recovering addict or this and that, they're just judging, right? And we can't judge others. Like, the only person that can judge us isn't here. He's above, God. When people are judging other people, that genuinely, I think they're unhappy with themselves. So they're kind of trying to put that outwards, you know? Yeah. And listen, I think why we do this isn't for the clout, isn't for this, isn't for that. It's for the message that we receive, you know? Yeah. You receive some messages. I receive some messages. Once we put this out, Nick's gonna receive some messages, and wow, thank you for sharing your story. You know, it takes some big balls to fucking tell your story and put it out there.
Yeah. And I think people could like see you, you know, you have a business, you got a BMW,
Yeah.
and be like, damn, this guy has it going on, he's successful and stuff. But like me, influencer, whatever, like he has so many followers. But I go through shit every day. Like mentally, my mind is fucked. Like I'm like, I crave a beer. I don't really like, I know the outcome if I drink, but the cravings are there. Like it's so easy for me to just, you know, take 1 foot forward and take 10 steps back. It's so easy for me to do that. But I just know like, okay, like I think about the consequences of what can happen of me doing that. And I'm just like, nah, like I'd rather have what I have now than lose it all.
But all that shit doesn't matter.
No.
Like the hundreds of thousands of followers that you have, the businesses, the BMW, who the fuck cares about that shit? Yeah, it's nice, it's cool, but that's not who defines you. That's not what defines you.
But what
And
I'm saying is like people's perception.
I know,
of
and
you
that's what I'm saying. Like what we put out there is our highlight reel. I always say Instagram, TikTok is our highlight reel. We're not gonna put like, man, I'm really struggling today, you know, like feel sorry for me. No, we're gonna put, oh, I hit 225 on the bench. One day,
stuff.
bro, one day.
One day, yeah.
But you know, I again, man, like I want you to just kind of tell the people how sobriety's changed your life and maybe just a tip or a trick that's really stuck to you and that's helped you throughout this.
Sobriety has changed my life drastically, honestly. I wake up happy every morning. I don't have to chase anything. I'm spending more time with my family. I actually have money in my bank account. I have a nice car that's under my name. I afford it. Not anymore like I have to ask people for rides or take the bus. It feels like a whole different world. I'm able to do things that I never thought I would do. I'm able to go places that I never thought I would go. I'm my own support system. I don't have to rely on anybody anymore. And it's just a great feeling that being free, you don't have to be held hostage by a substance that doesn't even have a voice to talk. Just controls your mind, and it's a miserable lifestyle. And just seeing the past and how I am today, it's a blessing. It's absolute blessing. A tip I would suggest would be speak about it. Talk to somebody. You know, like you said, everybody's going through something. We all have something to share. We're just afraid to talk about it. You know, just don't be afraid to talk about it. We all can relate, and we got things that could help you get through it.
Yeah, and when I say like be vulnerable, I'm not saying go up to some random dude in the grocery store and be like, hey bro, man, I'm struggling today. I feel like doing it. No, like what I'm saying is find a good support system where you feel safe, you know, where you feel safe having those vulnerable conversations and let it out, you know, because if you don't let it out, it's going to eat you inside.
Exactly. And I'd say this is literally the place. I found so many friends over here. I never had friends. I never had friends until I started the gym. Then I started meeting people, good people, not people who abuse drugs or do violent crimes. I'm meeting people who do good and, you know, they're productive people in society.
You probably maybe did have friends, but it's either they wanted something from you or you wanted something. So it was always kind of,
wrong friends.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think our mission, and I think I can speak for both of us, is to help people.
Yeah.
Show people that it's all right to be vulnerable. Yeah, we're putting this out there for everybody to see. Everybody can look this up. My son, when he gets older, he's going to be able to see that. And I'm glad, because I want him to see the vulnerability and being able to like speak about your story. So many people in the past generation is like, don't tell anybody anything, this and that. Listen, I'm not going to go on the internet and say this, and this. But yeah, I'm going to say it, you know, and Tony's going to do the same thing. And every guest that we bring on is going to do the same thing, because we're doing this to help people, you know, and one day this could be so big that it's a top channel on YouTube, and not for the money for this, so that it's getting to people and we can help people.
People that reach out to me and they're like, bro, how you doing it? You know, and honestly, it was just looking myself in the mirror and knowing that I had a problem.
Yeah.
And the only way, we all have problems, but with every problem, there's a solution. And I figured out that there is a solution. I just have to put the work in to get there.
I think to finish off, I heard this in a group that I was in, and if you feel like you're struggling and you feel like you're not hearing God and you feel alone, I heard this and it stuck to me. This guy said, "The devil's crafty, not creative. God is so creative, and He will put you in situations to make you better. If you pray for patience, He's not going to give you patience. He's going to give you some hard times so you can learn patience. But what the devil is going to do is he's going to be crafty and try to stray you from that. But it's how strong is your belief and how much do you want it, you know? And some days I struggle and I pray to God. I said, just give me some strength to get through this, you know? And if you're open for it, if you're open for sobriety, if you're open for religion, if you're open for whatever it may be, you're going to be accepting of it. So thanks again for coming on and telling your story, and hopefully this can help some people that feel hopeless, you know?
Thank you guys for inviting me here. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.